Two people start with $50,000. One buys a rental property. The other dumps it all into the S&P 500. 20 years later, one of them is worth $1.2 million. The other, nearly $4 million. And the crazy part? Most people choose the wrong one. Every single time. Today I'm breaking down which one actually builds wealth faster. And the answer is going to destroy everything your parents told you about money. Wait, before you click off thinking you already know the answer, I need you to hear this. The debate isn't really about which one wins. It's about which one wins for you. And that distinction has made some people millionaires and left others completely broke. Here's what's wild. If you search real estate versus stocks right now, you'll find 1,000 videos, and almost every single one of them is missing the most important variable. A variable that Warren Buffett himself has talked about. A variable that changed how I personally invest my money. I'm going to show you that variable later in this video. But first, let me show you why most people are making this decision completely wrong. Let me paint you a picture. You've got some money saved up, maybe $20,000, maybe $50,000, and you're stuck. Do you put it into a property, or do you let it ride in the market? You Google it. You get conflicting answers. Your uncle says real estate. Your coworker says index funds. And your dad says, just keep it in a savings account. Meanwhile, the money is just sitting there, doing absolutely nothing. Sound familiar? Because this paralysis, this I don't know which is right feeling, is literally costing you years of compound growth. And I'm done watching people waste time on the wrong question. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which investment vehicle fits your situation. You'll understand the real numbers, not the cherry-picked ones. You'll know the hidden costs most people ignore. And most importantly, you'll have a clear decision-making framework that you can use today. No fluff, no affiliate plugs. Just the truth about where your money should go, based on math, behavior, and real-world results. Quick note on why you should listen to me on this. I've personally invested in both. I've owned rental properties, I've had money in index funds and individual stocks for over a decade, and I've made mistakes in both worlds. I've also spent hundreds of hours studying the data, interviewing investors, and stress testing the numbers. I'm not here to sell you a course. I'm here to give you the framework I wish I had when I was starting out. Alright, real estate versus stocks. Let's actually break this down properly. These are the two most popular wealth-building vehicles in America, and on the surface they couldn't be more different. One is a physical asset you can drive past and touch. The other is a digital number on a screen. One requires a mortgage, tenants, and a plumber on speed dial. The other requires a brokerage account and a Wi-Fi connection. But here's the real question. Which one builds more wealth? And which one is right for the kind of investor you are? Stick with me, because in about 4 minutes, I'm going to show you the number that changes everything. Here's the core problem with how people approach this debate. They compare the best case for one against the average case for the other. Real estate investors love to say, my rental property doubled in value and pays me $2,000 a month in cash flow. Okay, great, but they're not accounting for property taxes, maintenance costs, vacancy rates, property management fees, mortgage interest, insurance, and the nightmare tenant who stopped paying rent and trashed the place. On the flip side, stock market bulls love to say, the S&P 500 returns 10% a year on average. True. But they're ignoring behavioral drag, the fact that the average investor only captures about 5 to 6% of that because they panic sell during downturns. Both sides are cherry-picking, and when you cherry-pick, you make bad decisions with your actual money. So let's look at the real numbers, the uncomfortable ones. Think of it like two runners in a race. Real estate is the runner wearing a heavy backpack, leverage, responsibility, maintenance. But they've got a motor strapped to their back called leverage. That motor can accelerate them way past the competition when it works, but if it breaks down, they're carrying dead weight uphill. The stock market runner is lighter, almost no backpack, no motor. But they've got rocket fuel in their shoes called compounding, and over long distances, that rocket fuel is almost impossible to beat. The question is, how long is your race, and can you handle the motor breaking down mid-sprint? Now here's where it gets interesting, and this is the part that most finance creators skip completely. There's a third factor in this equation. It's not returns, it's not liquidity, it's not even taxes, though we'll get to that. It's something called your wealth stage, and once I explain this to you in just a few minutes, you're going to look at this entire debate completely differently. But first, let me show you the real numbers side by side. Let's run the actual numbers, and I'm going to be fair to both sides. Scenario 1. You invest $50,000 in the SP 500. You contribute $500 a month. You do this for 30 years. Add a 9% average annual return, which is slightly below the historical average. You end up with approximately $1.7 million. You did basically nothing except not sell when the market crashed. Scenario 2. You use that $50,000 as a down payment on a $250,000 rental property. Your property appreciates at 4% per year, close to the national average. You generate $500 per month in net cash flow after all expenses. After 30 years, your property is worth roughly $810,000, and you've collected around $1,090,000 in cash flow. Total, about $9,090,000. So on the surface, stocks win. Big, right? Not so fast. Because here's what I just did. I only counted one property. Real estate investors don't stop at one. This is where real estate gets dangerous, in the best possible way. If you take that same $500 monthly cash flow and reinvest it into a second property in year 5, and then a third, and a fourth, the math completely changes. Real estate is one of the very few assets you can scale with leverage. You're not just growing your own money, you're growing the bank's money too. And here's the tax angle that stock investors almost never factor in. Real estate gives you depreciation deductions, 1,031 exchanges to defer capital gains indefinitely, and the ability to pull cash out of your equity tax-free through refinancing. The IRS has been extraordinarily generous to real estate investors for decades. Meanwhile, stocks in a taxable account, every dividend is taxed, every sale is a taxable event. Yes, you can use a Roth IRA or 4LAC 2000, but those have contribution limits. Real estate has no such ceiling. Let me tell you about two guys I know. Call them Marcus and David. Marcus was a real estate guy. He bought his first duplex at 26, lived in one unit, rented the other. Used that rental income to save up for a second property. By 35, he had 4 units. By 42, he quit his job. Today, Marcus owns 11 units across 2 cities and lives almost entirely off rental income. His net worth? Somewhere north of $2.3 million. David was the stocks guy. Maxed out his $4,01,000 every year. Put $1,000 a month into a low-cost index fund. Never touched it. Never panicked during 2008, 2020, or any other crash. He's 44 now. His investment portfolio? $1 million. With 0 landlord headaches, 0 contractor phone calls, and 0 midnight emergency plumbing situations. Here's the thing. Both Marcus and David are winning, but they're playing completely different games. Here it is, the missing variable. It's called the wealth stage framework. Stage 1, under $1 lakh saved. Stocks win, hands down. Stage 2, $1 lakh to $5 lakh. Now it gets interesting. Stage 3, above $5 lakh net worth. Real estate's tax advantages become massive. Most people skip straight to stage 3 thinking, before they're even in stage 1, and that's why they fail. Stop asking which is better. Start asking which is right for where I am. The wealthiest people don't debate real estate versus stocks. They use both, strategically, in sequence. The real wealth killer isn't picking the wrong asset class. It's sitting on the sideline arguing about it. The best investment is the one you actually make. Here's the truth nobody says out loud. Both can make you wealthy. Both can fail you. The difference isn't the asset. The difference is you. So stop waiting for the perfect answer. Get in the game. Start where you are. Use what you have. And commit to the long run, because that's where all the real money is made. Let me give you a quick recap. First, both can build wealth. Second, the stocks win on simplicity. Third, real estate wins on leverage and taxes. Fourth, your wealth stage matters. Fifth, consistency beats everything. If this changed how you think about money, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.